What's up, guys? The Senate back with another video, and as you can tell from the title and my tone of voice, this is not going to be a video that I'm going to be very joking about. It's a very serious topic that I would like to talk to you guys about, and also I chose my history project to be this, so I basically just decided to have this be my educational video. I know a lot of people know what Pearl Harbor is, but maybe it's been a while since you've talked about it in school, or you don't know about it at all. Maybe you're on the younger side and you don't know what it is, or maybe you do know what it is and you just want to know, like, maybe a couple things that, like, in depth, a couple things. Some basic information about Pearl Harbor is that Pearl Harbor, the place in Hawaii, was bombed by Japan during World War II, 1941, December 7th to be exact. The U.S. had Pearl Harbor because Hawaii was part of the U.S. due to the annexation of Hawaii, so it was part of the United States then. So the U.S. and Japan were already kind of butting heads before they bombed Pearl Harbor. But basically what happened was the U.S. had shut down Japan's oil production because they had shared oil. And this was done because the U.S. needed it, and Japan was taking parts of the Allied powers, which the U.S. decided to remain neutral, but they couldn't do that because they were also kind of being attacked, so they couldn't do that. And Pearl Harbor being bombed was the whole reason why the U.S. decided to join the war. And in retaliation to Japan not getting any oil from the U.S., Japan decided to bomb Pearl Harbor via planes and submarines and all that stuff. So a kind of very brief timeline. At 8 a.m. was the starting attack. Japanese airplanes had swarmed the skies and shot down boats, people, artillery, causing lots of damage and casualties. The torpedo plane attack, which was the initial attack that caused over 60% of all the casualties, only lasted 11 minutes, which is insane. I don't understand how you could do that much damage in 11 minutes. By 8:10 to 8:15, a 1,800-pound bomb blew through the deck of the USS Arizona, sinking it and sadly taking over 1,102 men down with it. So you had almost 40% of the casualties just with one bomb. Here are a few images of the memorial for the USS Arizona. As you can see, the USS Arizona is still in the water with the memorial right above it. And there's basically a memorial for it because, sadly, people's bodies are still down there. Like, they can't recover it that well. The USS Oklahoma was constantly being pierced by torpedoes and sank as well. The USS Oklahoma sinking sadly took 429 sailors and Marines' lives with it. Both the USS Arizona and the USS Oklahoma were sunk in the first 10 to 20 minutes of the initial attack, leaving the next 700 and 900 due to pass to collateral damage or getting shot by planes or just drowning simply. A second attack happened around 8:55, which was basically intended to finish off the remaining sailors and Marines that were still alive. So in a matter of about an hour, this is what happened. In total, nearly 2,403 Americans had passed, 1,143 were wounded. At the time, they weren't soldiers, as remember, the U.S. hadn't joined the war yet. 18 ships were sunk, 5 of them being battleships. 55 Japanese airmen were shot down and killed, and 29 of their aircraft were shot down in the attack. Some sources and documents like newspapers and letters and speeches regarding Pearl Harbor. One of the most well-known ones is FDR's Day of Infamy speech to the Congress on December 7th. I'm just going to show some like newspapers and such while I quote some of FDR's speech. The attack on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. Very many American lives have been lost. In addition, American ships have been reported torpedoed on the high seas between San Francisco and Honolulu. FDR 1941. So Dorinda McAnalony Nicholson says, everywhere we looked, there was smoke and fire. It seemed as if the water was on fire from the burning oil. To further on FDR's speech, militarily it was not a total disaster. Japan had failed to destroy Pearl Harbor's ship repair facilities, the base's power plant, and its fuel tanks. Even more important, 3 U.S. aircraft carriers, which had been on routine maneuvers, escaped destruction. But it was a devastating blow nonetheless. The same day, Japanese forces had launched other attacks throughout the Pacific, striking Guam, Hong Kong, Malaya, Midway Island, the Philippine Islands, and Wake Island. FDR Pearl Harbor speech, 1941, December 7th. A few more newspapers at the time after the event. A few documentaries and interviews will be linked in the description. But the whole history behind it, the reason why Japan and America were kind of on tight leashes with each other is simply because at the time America was not involved in World War II, and they were decided between joining and stepping aside. They had already stopped trading and proving stuff to Japan to try and stop Japan from expanding what it was already doing. During September 1940, Japan had signed a tripartite pact with Germany and Italy. Basically, they joined the Axis powers, which were Germany and Italy. But before Pearl Harbor happened, America and Japan tried to work on a negotiation with no success. It seemed as if the fight between America and Japan seemed inevitable, so Japan decided to stand its ground as a global power and try to force America to stay out of Asian affair by attacking their military force. While the Japanese did do damage to American forces, they did not complete their mission, and their attack to scare America did not work. Instead, it was just the jump start that caused America's heart to join the fight. So now the U.S. blames Japan for what happened at Pearl Harbor. Japan took the blame, but basically thinks that the U.S. still deserved it. Something that many regret taking a part in is bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was sort of the last big event in World War II, happening only a month before World War II ended. What Japan really didn't expect is that would basically make them join the war, joining the Allied powers. The Allied powers, of course, consisting of majorly France, Britain, Russia, and the U.S. Japan wanted to take over the Pacific coast and won most of the battles up until the U.S. joined. A lot of people theorize that World War II could have been way longer and more destructive had the U.S. not joined, simply because we outclassed Germany with all our industrial equipment, and we basically we outclassed the strongest Axis power. And it was basically an automatic win for the Allied powers. So now you know a lot about Pearl Harbor. Maybe you've learned nothing and just came to hear me spat for about 10 minutes. I would just like to say that if you lost somebody during Pearl Harbor. I'm very sorry, and if you are grieving and need help, I would suggest going to get some professional help. If you would like to talk to me in the comments, I always answer them. I'll be very considerate and just give kind words. I'm not really gonna turn the outro into a joke, so I'm just gonna say I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you liked it, and if you're new, join my empire. Share it with friends and family, and I'll see all you beautiful people next time. Stay safe, and I love you guys.